Mexican lover.
Live at
Ooh,
the 6:45 a.m. Our Morning Wood Radio. We are back from the battle bunker with your weekend recap with your race director, Hunter McIntyre, and head judge on all events over the weekend. We're going to dive right into Maddie, a.k.a.
Stevens.
Dirt Diggler.
Old Dirk
How-
Diggler. I had to bring it back.
How long are you gonna keep that mustache for?
Dude, so my daughter last night, she goes, "Daddy, shave it off." But I think I'm just gonna just let it get as long as possible, man. It's getting pretty gnarly.
Dude, our buddy Kyle, when I first met him, I don't know if it was me who 100% prompted him, but I was like, dude, why do you have a beard? Like, you should rock a mustache. And Kyle had a mustache for a good 2 years after that. And I don't think
Nice.
anybody was pumped about it except for us.
He still does,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
How many would you say, if there's a ratio, anybody who's listening right now, guy or girl, if you're into guys, if you're into girls, I need some votes here. What do you think sexier, a guy with a mustache or a guy without a mustache? I need a vote table. We got Ryan's jawline is incredible. Wow. Hybrid Hub. Who's Hybrid
Wow.
Hub?
I don't know. I like this person, though.
Who's Dildo?
Dildo. He stalks you
That's
everywhere
Dylan.
you go, man.
Is that Dylan?
That's,
Dylan
that's
Dorn?
no, that's my buddy Tyler Praley. Dildo.
Does he live down there in the woods?
Yeah, he lives down here in the woods. He's always on Savon podcast, harassing all the viewers on there.
Savon's podcast is like straight up. It feels almost like the war that's going on right now in Palestine versus Israel. Like it's insane the amount of intensity on that show. There's so much tension. Like there's the new age CrossFitters, the old guard, there's the maskers, there's the non-maskers, there's liberals, Republicans, like it, and it comes out there. And I feel the tension. Like I try to hide from it. I bet you Dildo is one of the dudes who stirs the pot.
He is, dude. He is. He's always on the pot. When he jumps on there, I can only listen for like 10 minutes and then I've had enough.
Savon?
Yeah, well, when Dildo's on there stirring up the crowd.
Yeah, dude. You gotta find a way. Wow,
Yes.
look. Austin, did you forget you had a job with your friends this morning?
Brief pause for station identification.
What are you doing? All right, bye. I think he's having complications, if you know what I mean.
He just rolled up out of bed.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Dude. Okay, so much sexual tension amongst Savanistas. If you don't have a mustache year round, you're wrong. Cooper, love this style. Love this style. We have no chicks logged in right now, so there's just a lot of dudes, dude on dude action, which I'm cool with.
Do we have, so if he has, what is it called, savantiness? What do our podcast listeners called? Woodies?
I guess so.
Our Woodies?
Yeah, Woody's.
Dude, we downloaded, I just got Sirius Satellite Radio again, and I was off it for like a year because I switched cars and I, kind of just didn't re-sign up. And I got it back and I've been listening to Howard Stern, and my level of joy in my life has increased so much. His
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah. Interviews are fire. The weird shit that they talk about.
It's in the middle of October right now.
I know.
I love it. Fetish recently.
Do you know when he brings on that Asian dude who used to be on Star Trek, who's gay, and he just loves talking about dicks?
It's oh my gosh.
Come on, don't fuck this up. Do you listen?
Yes.
Yeah. So back in the day, like he used to have all kinds of porn stars on there, and he used to do the anal ring toss, like live on the show. Do you remember that? Like now, the anal. So apparently, there's chicks that shove like a cone or like a dildo in their ass, and they toss rings at her from across the studio, like live on air.
I'm just trying to understand, like the current day and age that we're in now versus that era. How did we lose that?
George Takei.
Yeah.
To Tsunami.
How did we lose that? Like, I don't think necessarily every show needs to be about that, but now you cannot do anything without getting crucified.
That's why he went to satellite radio, because he was getting fined left and right.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I think he was getting paid like $90 million a year at the time.
Oh, it's
Which
got
is
to be even more. He's
fucking
grew
crazy.
Sirius XM to heights that they didn't even know.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly don't buy into it unless it was Howard Stern. Like you can go and get random music on Shopify or whatever, Spotify. I guess we'll just go into like the real theme of the story of what we're trying to do today. We were supposed to have the breakdown, recap, the post game show with Austen, but Austen does Austen stuff. But we'll fire it off with Stevens. How you been, man? How you feeling?
Dude, I'm great. So, you always have a little bit of apprehension before a competition because you don't know how it's going to go. But I think all the planning that we crammed in the last 4 weeks really paid off. And I think we kicked off one hell of an awesome event, man. I mean, I don't think we had really any hitches amongst the athletes or the judging / scoring, really. I mean, I thought it was great. There's a few hiccups, but nothing to like highlight that'll tear up the whole weekend.
I'm pretty pumped, man.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Year one was a horror story. For
Yeah,
me, at
I
least.
heard. Yeah. So you learn through your failures, and I think you guys have learned through your failures over the years, and I've learned through my failures. And I think putting all that together, writing all that stuff down, and saying, all right, we're going to do this different next year. We're going to do this different. And just putting all that together, I think we knocked it out of the park, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you tired at all? Like, how much sleep would you say you got?
I was averaging about 4 hours a night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. Last night, I didn't get home till midnight, but I'm 3 hours ahead of you guys. So I've been up since I slept until 8. So I got 8 hours of sleep last night.
Wild boy.
Yeah, dude, I'm ready to go. If my ankle wasn't all fucked up, I would definitely go and work out and do something crazy. But I think I need just a couple days to stay off of it.
Dude, I had
So,
a 2.5 hour nap yesterday. I literally came into the room. I laid down on the bed right there, face down, and I was just like, I'm gonna breathe for 2 seconds. And 2.5 hours later, I woke up.
did you leave Sunday? Did you get home Sunday night? Did you leave Sunday night after dinner?
Oh yeah, I totally
Yeah.
bailed. Yeah, dude. I sat there at the table with everybody. I was dressed up in my Halloween outfit, and I just looked around. I was like, I can either choose the devil or the high road on this one. And knowing the next day the amount of work that we had to get done, I literally just bolted. I didn't say goodbye to anybody.
The amount of sleep that I got in at 11 and woke up at 4:30 because there's well, today the stuff that we had going on, I mean, people are 6 hours ahead, so I got to get ahead of the ball. Just stuff needed to be done. I'm definitely taking an afternoon nap today, though.
Don't be fucking lazy.
I wasn't from 5 a.m. on. All right. We got our special guest host, Austen Alexander, the man, the myth, the legend that created Battle Bunker and hosted the 2023 HYBRICON Games. Welcome to the show, Austen Alexander.
Thank you very much. Hunter's like, don't give him an intro like that. He's 10 minutes late.
Yeah, we're already talked about everything we needed to talk about. It's already done. So
you guys,
welcome. See you later.
You guys were talking about I didn't get sleep. I didn't get terrible weekend like with the sleep schedule and everything. And then guess
you're an abusive boss, dude. None of those things that we did met the OSHA standard. None of that stuff.
Of course it did. We had an OSHA rep come out and
OSHA compliance officer.
Yep. Had him come out and approve the obstacle course, had him come out and set up safety procedures and precautions for that trail and everything. Like, these are the things behind the scenes that you guys don't see.
Was gnarly. I got a nice $50 size scar to take along with me.
Did you have no idea how many people I watched die on that trail? That is the most junior varsity trail I've ever seen in my entire life. It took out 2 of the people on this screen.
It really did. It took out five athletes that I know of, probably a few more, but yeah, it was bad.
When I first started designing this whole thing,
never had an issue.
I literally, when I first started designing this thing, I found like a mountain trail, and I took Austin to the top of it in my truck, and I was like, "This is the race," and Austin's like, "No, people will die." People will die. People will fall off the mountain. And I was like,
I swear they really would have.
It's a fucking trail. And now that I've seen all of my friends and all these athletes going on basically the equivalent of a sidewalk and dying, I recognize what Austin was saying. But I had such an iconic thing designed for everybody. Year 3. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, no, bigger and better, man. We've got to do it next year. We've got to scope it out. We've got to plan it, and we've got to make it happen.
The reason why I'm a little delayed this morning is because, first of all, me and Braxton, imagine that, took every single tire off that field and every single log last night. That's really not the reason. I had my washer exploded and there was water everywhere, so I had to take some clothes out and put them in the hamper. But I just wanted you guys to know that we loaded those logs last night off of the field, me and Braxton.
It makes you feel any better. I did the same thing on Thursday.
Every single one of them?
Yep. Matt, you're Matt. What's Matt's last name? McDonough?
McDonough did.
Matt was so weak he couldn't get the tire up, so I had to push his tire.
I couldn't get those damn things up.
Matt can
you
do
left
a lot
it with
of pull-ups.
Treadzilla, though.
I do remember you guys loading those tires, and last night I was like, dang, I asked Matt to load these tires on the field, and I kind of feel bad about it now.
It was hard.
Yeah.
Dude, especially because if you left, we had to go uphill from the course.
Yeah, but going downhill is just as bad because if you let go of them, that's it. You're going to tear down a fence with those things. They let it go.
What was the men's? Was 650?
680.
680.
Woo. How many people actually finished the tire? It's the big one.
Men.
Female less than 5.
Yeah.
So then would you have gone back if you knew how many people completed the tire flip? Would you have made the weights a little bit less and got a less heavy tire?
No way, Jose, dude. Not a freaking chance. So let's go through this whole thing, and I'll try to explain the design.
There's Renee.
Then we can talk about maybe some of the best shows and everything like that. But at least now that it's all done, I don't know if you guys want to go through it this way, but I was thinking about just talking about some of the workouts, some of the best shows, some of your guys, what you call your roses and your thorns, and what you guys want to do next year, what athletes can expect. But just to explain to people, I guess now that it's the end of the whole thing, I've got a lot of like questions and heard murmurs about like, why did this happen? What was going on? Like none of it negative, but more so like what was going on. And there's this whole new growth and arena of what's called hybrid sport. And that is kind of what HYBRICON games are. But you also got to understand it comes from this military background with Austen. And when I originally started all of these tests, I just looked at all the Olympic and like world high level events around the world. And I found out like kind of what their time domains are. And I tried to figure out, what was defining the best athlete in the world. And then I went over and I started to study, and I started studying all of the special forces tests around the world to find out how, special operators, special units. It doesn't always have to be like, even if you want to be, a hotshot firefighter, you have to pass certain tests. There's like tons of things where if you have 5 of 10 attributes that are necessary to be successful, you're still not going to make the team. Even if you have 9, you're still not going to make the team. Like you have to be able to cross all the tests to be on the team, the A team. So that's why I started bringing all of these elements. And, day one, especially, we were wet for a long time. But if you look at like probably the most famous special units in the entire world, it's the Navy SEALs. I bet you Navy SEALs are wet probably 90% of their training and probably only 10% of their career, if that. But it's still a great indicator of someone's abilities to get wet consistently over and over again, test their body, test their mind, test their spirit, all that kind of stuff. And then beyond that, once we got to field day, I wanted to make sure that I'm like, well, what shows that someone's strong? What shows that someone's powerful? What shows that someone's an athlete? You can show someone strong with a bar, you can show someone's powerful with a bar, but where do you start to define that athlete? And, if I just had someone run, that's running capacity. We did that yesterday. But if you have somebody go through an obstacle course race after blowing up their arms and seeing how physically proficient they were, it's a totally different thing. If you look at somebody like Jack Driscoll was about to win the entire weekend, but he didn't have that last element of what it took to be the champion of the event. And it was all decided after over 3 obstacles. All he had to do is get 4 obstacles: Ranger rig, anchors away, rope, and then up and over. And he couldn't get through. He would have been the champion of the weekend. So at the end, I think really we did define a very, very physical and amazing athlete, both on the championship level and then all the way down the spectrum. And I guess I'll kind of lead the question to you guys. I wanted to start out and kind of ask, I'll start with Stevens. There's this thing that we used to do when we were doing these big group training events. We had what was called Rose and Thorn. Rose is what was your best part of your weekend. Thorn, what was the hardest part of your weekend?
I think the best part of the weekend for me was just watching it all come together, and I think we can all kind of agree on that. Like, you have these ideas that you put down on paper, and you watch it come to fruition, and it's like that's the most amazing part. You get to see, we'll just call it 40 athletes go through these awesome workouts that we all designed, helped put together to, and I think that was some of the best. Some of the worst was just, on the backside of things. My thorn was just stuff that we can talk about internally, but for forgetting markers or something like, something stupid that is behind the scenes that nobody really noticed besides us. It wasn't obvious to the athletes that we forgot markers to write on the whiteboard, or something got forgot or left behind. That was all just internally, on our end of the spectrum. But yeah, that's the biggest takeaway, man, is watching all these athletes just come through and have fun with the workouts. Everybody's smiling, laughing, having a good time.
What about you, Ryan?
I thought everything went well. I really like driving your truck on the tasks that were assigned to me, so I have no complaints.
We got to have a rose and a thorn. You can't just
say
I drove a truck.
Thorn would be healthier food options in the food court. I was on a very strict eating plan, and even though Alex decided to eat a whole lot of fried chicken, I was looking for a bit more. But I mean, you can't really help that. It was amazing food.
Is today the day that we vote? Or one more day?
Tomorrow.
Okay.
My pictures are looking spicy.
Come in here. All right, I guess that leaves me. I think, we had 13 judges, all volunteer judges, and we had, I don't remember how many we had on grit day, but we had about 5 that messaged me either week before, day before, or day of that said, "Hey, yo, I can't make it out. I can't make it out." If you look at the other staff that I had, like for example, the translator, I paid him.
He was good.
Paid him. He was very good. Paid him $30 an hour to translate because he was there. He was waking up at 4 with Gyame. He was there every step of the way. Like, the level of commitment from paid versus volunteers is like such a huge difference. We have a huge amount of volunteers and judges, which did an incredible job, and were there, the exact same time they were supposed to be there, and they didn't leave until we said, "Hey, we're done with y'all, but next year I would like to bring a crew of judges in, and maybe even some volunteers that are paid, so they are a little bit more
invested.
Invested, exactly."
I'm still in the volunteer budget, so that's why I was a little snippy this weekend.
Yeah, Hunter. I mean, I said, "Hunter, do you want to be the race director? I can never pay you." And he's like, "Let me think about it." And then he agreed. So got him to sign a contract without paying him. But that's the thorn, and there's actually two thorns that I have. It's I'm starting out with the thorn. Everybody's like, golly, Austin's just smashing this competition. The spectators, we had 180 spectators sign up, and I'm not sure exactly how many rolled through. I think maybe half of those. And so I would love to focus on getting more spectators there, but we had a lot of people sign up that didn't show up, including volunteers, judges, and spectators. The rows, I mean, the entire competition, like starting out, me as the guy who's like who feels vulnerable and who feels responsibility for the safety of every single person at the competition. When I first saw that, I believe it was Gibbs or Damel who had twisted his ankle, I just felt responsible for that. And then I saw another one, and then another one, and another one, had 4 twisted ankles on the trail. Wait, this is another thorn. Overall, I think the competition was incredible. What I was leading into is after the trail run, and I spoke to Hunter. Hunter's like, dude, this stuff happens all the time. It's good. Like, I've been to multiple trail runs, blah, blah, blah. Matt's like, I've been to multiple trail runs. This stuff happens all the time. I felt a lot more relieved about it. And I could really start to enjoy the grit day, the rest of grit day, the pool session, and then field day. We're just having a blast on the live stream. The judging and scoring, I was so traumatized from that last year that seeing it this year, it was like crazy difference.
Well, last year we had a Russian spy infiltrate our system and destroy took all the papers and was like, and this year we had Matt Stevens.
Oh, Joe, I was gonna say, so here's the deal. We could have gotten scores updated a lot quicker. Now, granted, it was very fast. Day one, we had it like as we were switching out athletes, I was updating scores. We could have done it faster, but here's why we didn't. Is because I didn't want that to be on me that somebody else messed it up, right? So I could have had like Ariana or like even Adam input the scores, but I wanted to own that whole system. So Matt and I had gone the past 6 weeks working on building this software for this program. And I was like, I'm just going to own this. So I was kind of the gatekeeper, but I think overall we still had it knocked out of the park, man. Like we had before every event, we had updated scores.
Yeah. So, compared to last year, like I've gotten one person to hit me up with constructive feedback. Last year, it was like half of the athletes. Mm. And the one bit of feedback, I won't mention the name, the one bit of feedback that I got was something like, hey, dude, like, I know this is a hybrid fitness competition, but swimming and pool competency was 30% of the scoring. And the athlete said, I don't think that swimming is as important as running. Overall, great competition. I loved it. I was just, that was on my mind.
That's debatable. That's like me saying, if I'm not the strongest person in the room, oh, that was too heavy. Well, then you should maybe get in the pool more and swim more. I don't know. It's a hybrid, dude.
I mean, those swimming laps, let's say they took a minute. That ladder of 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, like that was an engine test. Carly swam on her back every single lap. Like she was very, very slow in the pool, very, very fast with that sandbag. And she was able to have a good balance. I mean, Matt, you saw her, Hunter, you saw her whenever she was hopping in the pool, she was just kind of like backstroking. So if
it's like when people get on
doing the side stroke.
Yeah, Cole was
Cold
doing
Eddie?
like combat. Yeah. And it's like you look at like a fast AMRAP or like a 10-minute AMRAP where you have a row capacity in there. You use that row to kind of let your heart rate go back down, slow everything down, and then you jump on those weights and just crush it. And that's kind of how she took that as. Like, I'm going to just chill in the pool because I'm proficient enough where I can, and I'm going to get out and I'm going to wreck house. And that's what she did.
Exactly. So I don't classify Wet Willie as a swimming event, like,
no,
at all. If anything, that using that lap was a chance to catch your breath.
Yeah. And remember, we even talked about waiting some of the workouts, and we're like, why? Why do we need to wait the workouts? They all should be equal amount. Like we talked about it. So it's not something that we didn't think about either to kind of defend ourselves. Not that we have to, but we thought about it.
Yeah. So that was
an option.
That was the thinking behind, waiting for the audience out there, waiting the scores.
Well, dude, if you think about it, you had 3 pool workouts and then you had 6 land workouts.
Mm-hmm.
And that pool workout, the pass fail one, your hands were tied behind your back. Like, it wasn't really a pool workout. It was a panic test. There's tons of panic tests that we could have done. There are other panic tests that you may be introduced to next year, but it was very simple for us to stay right at the pool, tie your hands behind your back. And listen, the guy who was the champion last year, Isaiah Vidal, like I sat there and watched him the whole time. He was 30 seconds away from passing the test and he didn't make it. So the test, it worked. It worked. Like, it's one of those kind of things where if you have a chink in your armor, like the whole design was meant to find it. And if you look at the scoring at the very end, it was a great test. There was no outliers that were like so drastically far ahead of everybody else. The top 5 men were all within a point of each other. So there was tons of opportunities where there wasn't this just like one pool freak who took away, like destroyed the entire field. Truly wasn't. And
yeah.
What's that?
Go ahead.
No, I just like Jake Gibbs was leading the day for 7 of the workouts, leading the event for 7 of the workouts. I really think that if he didn't hurt his ankle, that guy had such insanely good performances across the board. But in reality, he didn't win the pool workout with a sandbag. Isaiah Vidal did. But Isaiah didn't pass the bob test. And, another really interesting character is you watch people that shouldn't, like if it's just such a pool-based workout, you watch somebody like Caleb Yates, who was like top 5 in the swim, but then he came and I think he was tied for first with a tire, or was that Cole?
Let's see. I'm looking at scores right now.
Yeah, Caleb. Let's see.
Caleb was tied with Aston Damel for Treadzilla.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, it was a diverse enough competition where that person who could cover all the bases efficiently did really well. I honestly thought that Caleb was out for the weekend. I was like, dude's done. Dude's done. Like, he blew it on the trail. He did decent in the swim in the sandbag. And I was like, I don't know where he's going to come back on this thing. But that dude stuck it out. Like, he didn't have any holes in his game.
Yeah.
The people that had big holes in their game, at least on the male side, from what I remember, is Jack at the obstacle course race and Isaiah in the bob test. Like, those were 2 guys that had opportunities to win the whole event, and they had it. You people like Carly Warpath, who frickin' basically was at the top of the leaderboard the entire weekend. You couldn't really contest against that. I think that she probably would have even won the baton sticks if it wasn't for her letting go the stick.
Like on the men's side, we had Muscarella and Yates. They didn't really, like if you were watching the competition, they didn't really shine hardly anywhere. But they maintained such a high average across all those events. Like they were able to sneak in there. Like when Gibbs is an endurance guy. He's a runner. He's fast in the pool. But when it comes to these strength events, and he also did have a sprained ankle, like he was ranking pretty low down there, as opposed to
he tore it up in the log. I think he was top 5 in the log.
Was he?
Yeah, let me get some details on that. You got that, Matt?
Yeah, I got it. Combat carry. So
he was moving.
Aston won that event, and then Phil Bouchard, Jack D, Cole Schwartz. Yeah, that combat carry, they killed that. Caleb was 7th in that.
What was Jake?
Jake Gibbs, 106. He tied with Cole. So both Cole and Jake had 106 reps, and then Bouchard and Driscoll had 107.
I think Jake has gotten so much better from regionals. Like, yeah, he took first in the last athlete standing, but in yard work in the BCT, I think he was kind of like average. And then he comes to the HYBRICON games and he's performing, very, very well. That surprised me.
He put on some size too. I mean, he just looked more filled out.
Yeah, he did. Oh,
he is Jake the Snake, the greatest wrestler of all time.
We were talking about the Bob test earlier. This is interesting. We had 6 guys, 6 out of 24. So 25% of the men passed it. So 75% fail rate.
Really?
Yes. And then for the women, we had 11 that passed it. Isn't that crazy?
Women got their shit together.
Six men failed.
Yeah, 6.
75% pass rate.
The other way. Yeah, 75% pass. Only 6. So
I was
Dylan,
like, that doesn't add up.
Ryan, Tashawn, Miles, Tyler D, and Isaiah failed the Bob test.
Oh, so I'm sorry, I'm looking at the score, and they gain points if they
gain 10 points if they failed. So anybody who had 0 on that passed.
So we had 11 fail it for the women and 6 fail it for the men. I see now.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep. Yeah. So those two, and then the brackets, anytime you had points, that added points to your total score. So when you see points on those 3 events, that means they got those points added to their total score.
Okay, cool. I'm not a scoring guy. I'm just overseeing. It's so nice to go back and to be able to offer that link to people to go to Profit to see all those scores. Last year, and through all these other competitions, I'm having to manually create these graphics and upload them as a PNG. Like, there's no scrolling. Is a nightmare. So Profit.
I would say Matt Stevens was the MVP of the weekend. I was just a guy with a loud horn.
It's just behind the scenes, man. Like it was really, really smooth, and I just did this in August, so it was like fresh on my brain, and I just wanted to get it right for us, and I did.
Was this a new program that you wrote and designed?
No, so let me give you a background. So I used a company called ErgZone, and it's similar to this, but their whole function in life is to take ErgZone data, so like a ski erg or a row erg, right? And take that Concept 2 monitor and put all the data on the screen. Well, they created a system where you can now score for workouts and do different competitions. And they created something for me. And then Joe Roberto, who was doing the live stream, said, Joe Roberto. He said, hey, dude, I got a guy named Matt Morgan who has a scoring system that he uses for the Florida Grid League. You should hit him up. And I'm like, dude, I'm good. I know the system that ErgZone has. I'm just going to use that for Battle Bunker, and we're going to call it good. Anyways, I ended up talking to Matt, and I was like, dude, this system's way better, but it needed a lot of tweaks. So internally, it needed a way to do cap a workout, because at Florida Grid League, they don't have caps. I needed an AMRAP kind of set up, and I needed some other scoring things. And he's like, give me 2 weeks and I'll have it done. So in 2 weeks, he had all this software updated to where we could implement how we wanted to do it. For instance, what we were just talking about, the Bob test, I needed a way that I could add points to their score. So he went in the software, added that programming, and made it happen for me. So he did all the behind the scenes work to build it. And then I did everything from there on out. Like, I uploaded all the names, the workouts, the way we were going to score them, and input everything in there. So Matt was behind the scenes weeks before building it, and then I was game day making it all happen.
Yeah, I was talking to Matt Stevens about it. I was like, dude, what are we going to use for scoring? He's like, yeah, we use ErgZone. We're just going to use that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right. I was like, I'm going to let you handle that. And Joe was constantly kind of in the background saying, hey, my buddy Matt Morgan has this awesome program called Profit. And I was like, all right, well, we have to learn a new platform for scoring and software and coding and everything. But I'm super glad he finally got through to us.
Yeah, he did. And he was Johnny on the spot. He said, I'm going to make myself available all weekend. Like, he took a camping trip last weekend. I guess originally he was supposed to go this past weekend, but last weekend he went on his camping trip so he could be available this weekend in case there's any snags or hookups.
Yeah, dude,
so
that's commitment.
Yeah.
All right.
What was your guys' favorite workout?
Mine
To watch or to do?
Well, give me both.
All right. So I think for me to watch, oh man, probably Wet Willie. And then I probably Wet Willie on both. I like doing that workout, but I also like watching that workout.
Dude, I loved Treadzilla was sick to watch.
I agree.
I like the jumping over the fence. You know, some people would like sprint and then take the last 2 steps and just do a touch. There's other people that says, I want to touch that gate as quick as possible. They touched it and then did a treadmill or a hurdle hop.
Isaiah and Jack Driscoll.
Ryan, can you give me screen sharing access? I'll share some of these clips that we have from Treadzilla.
Yeah, when we originally designed this thing, it was just supposed to be the tires, and then all of a sudden I saw the gates around it, and I was like, we could get them to sprint at the end, and we would catch really good footage, and then it will change. You could see, dude, some people got off the tire and ran so slow, it was like they were in slow motion.
All right,
and then others flipped over.
These are going to be sideways, but for me, I thought it was going to be Treadzilla, the best looking footage, but for like long form documentary style, the tack trek, it looks so good with the headlamps and the drone shots, and like that is the best looking from a media standpoint. My favorite, Treadzilla for sure, because those tires were a lot of work.
Yeah, you put a lot of effort into getting the damn tires in the first place.
I have a tire plug up close to Hunter in Northridge, California. I'm like, hey, dude, I need a 723-pound tire. And he's like, okay, I got you. And he'll send me a picture and be like, I got your tire. I don't know where he gets them from.
You know those memes where they're like, the chick's like, I bet you he's thinking about other chicks right now. And it's just us right now just sitting there, just texting each other about big tires.
Yeah.
This is funny.
She had such a wide grip.
Caleb said that when he went, all the cameras on Carly instead of him. Did you lose?
No. Nah, Caleb, that's not true. Okay, so just for media reference, and Hunter is always asking me like, where the cameras at? Where the cameras at? We had cameras everywhere. We had 3 live stream camera angles, 3 documentary camera angles, 2 drone angles, and 5 photographers, plus an additional social media cam, this is the one you're seeing right now. So we 100% have footage of every single person.
Do you think you could beat Warpath in a fight?
Me or Caleb?
I don't either of you.
Anybody.
Guys.
Oh,
yeah.
Sure.
I wanted to fight her when she came to my house a couple weeks ago, but she went to jujitsu at like 8:00 at night, and I'm like, I'm going to bed. I'm not going to jujitsu at 8:00 at night. She'd probably wrap her long ass legs around me and just choke the shit out of me.
Natasha, I can't breathe. You guys remember that from 007?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Dude. Hey, how about who was that guy? Shoot, it was one of the first guys on the tire when they were pulling. It was Dylan. Dylan was pulling himself on the tire towards the sandbag because he didn't weigh enough to weight down the sandbag or the tire.
Dylan's got the body of a house cat.
Is that you? Oh.
Who's that on the rings?
That's Braxton behind me. Braxton, you wanna? Oh, on the rings, that was Driscoll. Braxton, you want to say hello to everybody?
What's up? Hi, everybody.
Hey, talk about MVPs of the weekend. Braxton was running around with the chicken with his head cut off.
Yeah,
Braxton, where were you all weekend? What'd you do?
Dude,
everything.
About everything.
I never saw you once this weekend, Braxton.
I caught him at Walmart checking out with more bananas than I think they've ever had someone purchase before. He's like, can you just scan 1 or 2 and then multiply it by how many I have? They were very confused, and it was hard work, so they were given a lot of trouble.
We got there at 5 a.m. on field day, and I said, Braxton, I need you to take my truck, and I need you to go get a shit ton of bananas and granola bars and coffee and water, because these athletes are hungry. And then Hunter.
Oh man, Kaylee was fighting hard on that tire.
Yeah, she was. Soon as that's going to be a good clip, though. I mean, it shows determination.
Yeah.
As soon as he left, Hunter's like, "Hey, I need you to call Braxton where he's at. Where is he at? I need an expo marker."
like ASAP. I didn't care if it was a damn permanent marker. We couldn't find any markers in any vehicle.
We ended up not even getting them.
Yeah,
but we found them.
he forgot the expos, by the way. But we were good. There's
Yeah,
Kate. Is it just me or has Simonson gotten stronger?
Way stronger. You got to. This is a buff daddy sport.
I think a lot of people came in a lot stronger because they were determined to do better.
Dude, this chick did
Then-
super well.
Yeah,
She got all the way.
Yaris, yeah.
I thought she was gonna win.
She got all the way to finals on batons.
Mm-hmm.
Jess Petro really blew my mind. She did some really savage stuff. Like she beat Chloe Molesky, who used to be a D1 full ride miler, to Duke in the trail run.
Yeah, no. When Jess was down here at Raleigh, she was neck and neck with Meg and Lauren Weeks, and I knew right then and there she was like a force to be reckoned with because I was like, dang, anybody who can hold their own against Lauren Weeks is a hell of an athlete.
Mm-hmm. Here's Garrett Mitchell versus Miles Johnson. Garrett Mitchell on the left. Garrett Mitchell, he took first in that entire event.
I don't think
This is the one. His hand came out, didn't it?
This isn't Garrett Mitchell.
No, that's
It's Dan, I think, or something like that. No, that's Mike Brown versus.
Is that Driscoll?
No,
No,
that was.
I think is that the one where his hand slipped out? I can't remember. A couple guys, their hand slipped out. Carly's hand slipped out.
Dude, I don't know why those guys kept on letting go of that thing.
Well, Caleb let go because he dislocated his finger.
Really?
Yeah, his pinky popped out.
Caleb, why you got such soft hands?
Let's review.
I know for safety issues, you had them stand about a foot apart, but for viewership issues, I thought it would be a lot cooler if he did like the running start and start him on the edges of the circle.
Trust me, we talked about that several times. Yeah. That's a lot of force.
Oh yeah,
coming at each other.
All it takes is just like one really bad injury, and it will just slow down the momentum of the entire weekend.
Right.
Nobody needs that.
We love the sportsmanship, but between the two athletes,
maybe it was over to the private event.
So let's go see Treadzilla. I got some really, really good angles on Treadzilla.
After that,
away from first will be going first. So as we progress through this workout, the athletes that are higher ranking will be going last.
So professional.
Yeah.
Were you talking the entire time as you were walking around?
well, you two, Austin.
Yes.
Interesting. I had no clue what was going on.
You're right. I didn't-
So that headset that I'm wearing, I hear them in the live stream. So if anything was to go wrong, they're like, "Hey, Austin, we need you on camera 3 in 10 seconds." I hop out there with a floating microphone.
Who's that really cool dude on the loud one?
Torres for the
Torres.
men, and Kayla
Easily flips the 410.
Yep.
I like this guy a lot. Andreas, dude, him with the log and the front and the
540.
Such a nice.
Easily flips it, moving home to 630 pounds.
He rolled his ankle too, so he was on a
Kayla
bummed
down
ankle
on the
through this
bottom
whole
right-hand
thing.
Side of your screen.
He tore his
He's
hamstring.
going for that fourth
Originals.
tire already.
That's
Fourth
right, he
tire,
did.
sorry.
Yes,
Yep.
Onto the last
he
one,
did.
gaining her breath, catching her breath, trying to really get this last one. Oh,
She
you see
was
her
so
just
close.
getting it up with that gravity, just bring it right back down.
This is where she needs to get that toe underneath. She
Matt,
got it
did
on
you
the
have
ground.
Joe wear that Rally in the Valley
Where's
shirt?
the grip?
I did not. That was on his own
Oh.
accord.
I
I had nothing to do with that.
just wondering.
There she goes.
You like
attempting
the-
three at
Right
this.
there.
Like
You
said,
like the
get
color
something
scheme?
under, leverage
That's
your
it.
body.
She had the knee
Yeah, I
almost.
do.
Is that beige?
Now it's like
Hey.
a
Attempt. Come on. And yeah, she's just
Look at
tired.
either
She's
gray or
exhausted. But great attempts there.
Dude, talk about
So
go
close,
find
so
Katie
close.
Simonson. Find Katie's talk because
Looks
she
like
was
that one took a lot.
at
She was on
59
it there.
seconds.
Under for like a minute.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, she's off balance.
The fact that Katie got that up and Stallwood didn't get that up
Exactly,
blew
yes.
my
Valley in the
mind.
valley.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, I think the weights were
So
perfect.
now, Joe, we're going into our women's.
His daughter.
Let's see.
Oh, she's
Oh,
so proud of her
this
mom.
is Emily's.
Now
Now
That's
this
Oh, that's Carly's.
This and
Charlie.
kinda got
Emily is
on
right
tired
before
of
her.
her.
Yeah.
Videos of him.
And then Katie should be right before Emily.
Let's go. I'm telling you, he
That's
and this is
Kiame.
what he does. He flips
What an
tires,
animal.
carries 200-pound bags
He's
as
a
fast
beast.
as he can. He's the
Dude,
guy.
my favorite drag race fight of the
Wow.
weekend was Cece versus Chloe. Those guys dragged each other at a standstill for all 60 seconds. They
Yeah.
must have been exhausted.
I heard
I
they
think
got
they
in a
had to
fight.
reset them. Yeah, they were
Remember?
all well. And then I guess Emily was trying to argue what side she was going to go to start on. I didn't see anything. I didn't know any of that happened. Adam told me that they were like arguing back and forth, about to throw down.
I was
before
just
they went
messing
into
with
the
you.
ring.
I didn't think they were about to
No,
fight.
they really did. So there's words that were shared between a couple of them on which side they're going to start on, because one side had that dirt patch and the other side didn't, and it was getting worn down. So they're like, I want this side. No, I want this side. I'm higher ranking than you. I'm going to take this side. It was like back and forth. And Adam finally was like, so and so on this side, so and so on that side, go.
Yeah.
See, like these little things. You see this graphic right here?
Let me see it.
Guess who made
What?
that?
Is you about Garrett?
Like
Ivan.
every single athlete. I created
Who
graphics.
made it?
for. I made it.
You got a lot of free time, though.
Tons of free time.
A lot of free time.
Yep. Look, shout out to our volunteers. We had
Dude,
when
they're moving the tires.
when Matt snagged them up, I'm like, ooh, they're gonna be mad at me. But yeah, they did a good job.
I mean, within 30 seconds, we had all the tires reset every time.
Yeah, Graham wanted to do the scoring, and I was like, Graham, you're not allowed to do the scoring. Like, you have to drag these tires around. He was super bummed. He was the largest man there. I feel like Grant would have done really well this weekend.
You think so?
I think.
Does he swim?
Well, I think he would have done really well in pugil sticks, drag race, and the tire flip. But then he probably would have been
less. Let's talk about Mike Brown and
His
how
biceps are huge.
Dude, he just
the
kind of
largest man in the world.
But he didn't do well on what we thought he was going to do well on.
I know, man.
Like the
you
brackets.
could tell going into the pugil sticks just how well someone was going to do based on the way that they walked in and like their posture.
Here's Simonson.
There's Katie, yeah.
Some of these dudes came in and were just like, he didn't come in with like a bunch of testosterone and like, fire in his belly. Like Emily, when she was competing, was like screaming and grunting and groaning all weekend long. And because of that, she almost won the whole thing.
This is a good clip. I'm going to share this one today of Katie just fighting with that tire for like 15 seconds.
I mean, that had she given up, I mean, that was it, and that pushed her up, and she was in third place coming into the final event because of that. Because Stallwood didn't get it, because a lot of girls didn't hit it, that boosted her up into third place.
Brian Stewart wants to know if you're going to host this event again, Austin. Are you going to retire, or do you think you'll have one more year?
Oh, those are my options: either retire or have one more year.
Yeah, you're like Tom Brady. You're kind of like on the way out. Like you still got it, but it's on the fence of whether or not you're going to let it go.
No, we're just starting. We're just now starting. We're just now getting good. Now's the time. Next year is when we really bring the heat. Now that we have good system and a good thing going.
So what is that going to look like? Are you guys planning on doing regionals? Are you guys planning on doing open? Are you planning on dumping it all?
We won't have. So the HYBRICON games 100% will be going on. I'm not sure of the qualification process this year. Regionals and combine absolutely drained a lot of the resources, and it was not a year. The year was not as good as it could have been. So what I would love to do is I would love to run a physical event. It would be an open event, so we could be there, we could monitor it, we could take people in that just want to compete for fun, and then top scorers would qualify for HYBRICON games. We could also chat with other events and make them a license event. Like I've been chatting to Matt Stevens. If you guys don't know, he runs Rally in the Valley, about potentially making it a HYBRICON games qualifier.
So since I wasn't going to bring up Rally just because I wanted to focus on HYBRICON games and Battle Bunker, but since you brought it up, I came up with an idea this morning. So I have 80 individuals signed up right now and 42 on a wait list. Honestly, what we could do is have 2 simultaneous or 2 weekends in a row. We have 80 people one weekend, 80 people the next weekend doing the same workouts in the same time frame. and just roll with what we got and have all 8. Because I mean, everybody from this competition's going, and it's like just makes sense to let everybody in. But I just can't handle 200 athletes in one weekend time wise.
Yeah.
So if we split that up and then just did it one weekend and then went through all those athletes and then went through it. But I mean, that's a conversation for later. But I just thought about that this morning. Let's let everybody in and roll, and then we can compare all their scores over the 2 weekends. I
think if we can put, the qualifications, and I have to talk to Hunter about this, in someone else's hands, like a rally or another event, then
yeah. My thing is with that though, you want to have it standardized across the board. So like the way we run competitions is identical, because I kind of ran the behind the scenes scoring piece of it, and our workouts are pretty much the same genre. So you almost have to have somebody who's okay with us going in and like helping them set up the way we want to set it up for HYBRICON games, because you don't want a drastic difference between some of these events that are going to be under the HYBRICON license name. And then you get to the HYBRICON games and it's completely different. You know what I mean? So like Rally and HYBRICON games, very similar. Now, if you take another competition and they go to HYBRICON and it's extremely different, they're going to be like, what the hell was this? Or what the hell was that I just went to? Because obviously I think HYBRICON games is going to be better than what they just went to. You know what I mean? So to standardize that somehow is going to be the way forward, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And that's something that we'd have to work really closely with the event organizer. But HYBRICON games, I'm not super interested in creating our own qualification process. If any, then it will be online, because regionals, that was a lot, and we could have focused that energy on the HYBRICON games
exactly
to bring you some additional things. So I mean, if you're interested, go to HYBRICONgames.com and click compete and then sign that form. We already have probably 50 people that had signed up through the weekend that are interested in competing. So we will keep you updated there. That's the best spot for notifications. So yeah. Hunter, what do you think? Do you think we should run a combine or a regional, or what do you think?
I was just thinking about that as you guys were talking. In reality, there's a couple ways to do this. I mean, if you look at a business, I think a big part of the reason why we were able to score a lot of the partnerships that we did is because we had so many touch points with athletes throughout the years. So I think some of our funding came from the fact that we had multiple touch points and multiple engagements for our athletes and sponsors to identify with. And then if you think about from like an infrastructure standpoint of actual design, our open was like a squat and a press, a mile time trial, and then dumbbells and burpees. It had nothing to do with regionals, and then regionals had nothing to do with championships. But like step 1 was like dip your toe in the pool. Step 2 was like go for a swim. Step 3 is like we're dropping you in the middle of the ocean, find your way back to shore. I think the thing that's either going to be it's hard to do is trying to find a way to filter out athletes that should be there versus who shouldn't be there, and then trying to keep the programming and finding the right people to be aligned with the brand so that they show up and they're able to actually compete is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And I studied it for many years because I've gone through it for many years. I think based on what I want to do to design for the competition next year is like, we're going to take you to the top of the tallest mountains and to the bottom of the deepest oceans as far as your body can physically go. And, if we have the resources, especially at a higher multiple than we did this year, trust me, like it's going to be way more exciting, way more intense enough, like that it will challenge you at a higher level, but not so intense that will deter people from coming. But by the end of that weekend, I thought to myself, I said, I left about 30% of the opportunity of the challenge out there on the floor. Like we could have put those athletes through more, but we didn't have the resources to put it on at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. I'm just going to sit down with a piece of paper. As I told everybody, I created a lot of those workouts with just like a glass of whiskey and a napkin. I just sat down and I was like, What are we going to do here? And I think, now that our teams continue to grow, shout out to Denham, my assistant for the weekend. I thought about that guy the whole time while we've been talking. Adam was such a bigger player this game. Matt was such a bigger player this game. All the volunteers and judges that were there, Ryan taking part, like everything seemed to be such a heightened level, but we're still kind of like just in the beginning of our story. So for me, man, I'm really looking forward to adding on to the plate. But to do that properly, you have to align yourself with companies like Matt's for Rally in the Valley and really test people properly, because next year, if I get the resources to do it, what I'm going to put those athletes through is going to be nuts.
Yeah, going back to like getting the custom stuff built. I won't go into detail because I want it to be a surprise, but the things we talked about wanting to do for this year, do it definitely next year because we've got the time and hopefully the resources.
Yeah, so this all started, like a lot of people were wondering, like, and a lot of people look at me and they're like, hey, great job on the event. Like, I don't want the attention on me. Yeah, I help organize it, but what I'm most responsible for is building a team who will be on board, either paid or volunteer, that is the most qualified to carry this competition to a successful event. And this year, like I focused on making this sustainable by working with partners that were aligned with Battle Bunker, like Fatty Smoked Meat Sticks and Victos, a veteran founded brand, and Powerlift. Exactly. So now that we have this system, this process, and we have this case study, like there's Andy stroking his mustache right there. Now that we have this case study, we can present it more accurately to people that align with us. And when we partner, they're able to help us provide more resources and everything for this competition. Like everyone, like see the banners that we had that we didn't have last year, the shirts, the hats that we didn't have last year. All of that is because of the partners that we work with.
I got a question for you, Austin.
Yeah.
For Fatty Meat Sticks, where can I order those? Just on their website? Because I love those.
You can scan the QR code on your screen or go to Amazon and grab a pack of fatties. You'll thank me later.
All right.
No, that was my script from the fatty commercial. You can go to Amazon. That's where they're driving everybody. Type in Amazon. They have sample packs on there. They have big packs on there. I still have about probably 2,000 in my garage. We're going to give them out for Halloween.
Yeah. I'm coming over tonight.
You giving out beef sticks for Halloween?
Heck yeah.
For our trick-or-treaters.
I try to get us some questions about HYBRICON games, and they're just a bunch of nonsense, boys. Where do I see you guys again? I feel like I don't know.
This weekend.
No, I know I see you, but like Matt, do I ever see you again?
I mean, yeah. Well, you come out here, man, and come hang out for a weekend or something. You know? Yeah, it's great.
Hey,
it's like a stress reliever here. It's everything's slowed down, and we just relax out in West Virginia.
I'm going to Matt's. I'll be there in January, Matt.
January, yeah. January.
Right? Yeah.
That's our next
What are you
venture.
doing in January?
I'm going to do some seer training for a YouTube documentary.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking? We should get Grantham somewhat involved in that. I mean, if you guys wanted to do a collab, because he's an ex-seer guy. I trained him, so.
Oh, really? Dude, 100%. 100% we could do that.
Yeah, I'll hit him
Grant?
up. I'll hit him. Yeah. No. Grantham, YouTuber, Mike Jones.
I don't know.
Who?
Grantham, Garan thumb.
Yeah, he's a
gun guy, yeah.
YouTuber.
Was that the guy that was at the event all weekend?
No, they know each other though, but no, that's a different guy. Anyway, yeah, we got some seer stuff going on.
Hunter, did you take Matt's stash for a spin this weekend? The people need to know. Dude, I didn't get laid at all this weekend. I literally worked my ass off. I was sitting there at the table and thinking, I was like, I could party and probably get pretty wild this weekend and have some stories to tell. But I just packed my bags and left. Matt didn't get any of this hot sex. He didn't. Sorry, dildo. I want to ask your guys' opinions based on the bodies that you saw between Ryan and Alex this weekend. Who do you think is going to win the body transformation? The
You know,
votes
Uh,
tomorrow.
well,
$1,000.
so Alex, we were sitting in the hot tub, and Alex was complaining the whole time that Ryan, he's like, he's had a hoodie on the whole time. He's not letting me see any exposure to his skin. Like, I don't know where he's at. It's really driving me nuts. So I think Ryan's probably going to win just because he's got something to hide that he's proud of.
Dude, what about you? What about you, Austin?
You know, I love Alex to death, but I'm having to say Ron. Ron's actually taking it seriously.
Yeah, I ate with Ryan 3 times, and each meal he was very, very adamant about eating clean and healthy. So I didn't really see what Alex was eating though.
Fried chicken.
Everything.
Was he?
Everything.
Ice
This
cream.
entire transformation challenge, like I tried to help Alex in the beginning, and he got upset with me because I was like, Alex, it was breakfast, and he started the morning out with Snickers, and then I had a beer afterwards for breakfast, and he was having beers, and I was like, dude, this is supposed to be a weight challenge, like a weight loss challenge. You need to challenge yourself. And since then, he's been on his own path. He's trained probably as much as I have every day. Like one day, he ran a marathon. He's freaking crazy. But as far as the transformation goes, it's going to be tough. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow in the pictures.
You know what? Hybrid Matt B. Davis at Hybrid Fitness Media, he's been pretty quiet on all weekend. He should change.
I think he was a little salty still about.
Matt B. Davis is a pay to play kind of guy. If you don't pay him,
yeah, he's not doing anything. He shared like two stories.
Oh, he wanted to know. He put us in a bracket where he said, "Is this hybrid or is this goofy?" To see if people thought what we were doing was dumb.
Yeah, like.
Well, he should change his page name to High Rocks Fitness Media because that's all pretty much he reports on. High Rocks and Deca. Maybe an occasional rally every once a year when it comes through.
I'm doing reality. Like, what are you gonna do? We're doing something that other people haven't tried, and we're having a blast while doing it. And if people don't understand it, so be it. By the time they show up to the party, it will be too late. Too damn late. But boys,
100% agree with that.
I appreciate you guys logging in.
We got an event coming up next weekend. Builder Sports is going to be a vendor at the Malibu Half Marathon. Got all the paperwork, I think, finished up today and back up and over. And you guys should be good to go for having a booth out there.
Are you bringing the van, Austin?
Remix samples.
Booth. Yeah.
Yeah, we're bringing the van. You guys can come in. We've got some product coming in. I'm giving away water bottles, some product. It's going to be savage. It's going to be savage.
Hunter, you should just give me $30,000 a month and we'll name it the Builder Battle Bus.
That seems like a super fair deal.
It does. I mean,
we're going to expand it out here on the East Coast too. We're going to get after that here shortly.
Oh yeah, we do.
About the recent partner that I discovered for you guys. Finder's fee, 10%.
I've known her longer. I
was the closer.
I told you 5. No, you weren't.
Hunter sent me the profile, and he's like, "You should work with her. She seems like a solid person."
All right, Austin, settle this right now. Who told you about her first?
I had already known about her.
I have too, though. But
okay,
between Hunter and I, who told you?
Known her for the longest time.
Knowing her and closing her.
No. Who's the closer? Who's the closer?
Hold on.
It's not a sale until you close the deal.
Who's the closer? Who's the one who closed the deal?
I'm the supreme closer here.
I don't think so.
I'm the most aggressive closer.
Listen, I'm saying that I closed the deal, 10% finder's fee. We'll talk about it next weekend during the half marathon.
Okay, all right, let's do it. When I'm going to be pacing you, Hunter, right beside you.
Dude, I've got my biggest sponsor today is Austen Alexander. He gave me a Garmin, and I still can't figure out how to use it. And I've been using Garmin's for years.
Dude, it's a brand new Garmin Phoenix 7.
Send it to me. I'll figure it out how to use it. I don't know if it's going to make it back to you, though.
This thing's pretty nice, people. Look at this new band because Austin gave me like a crusty, moldy band.
Look at this.
This one's pretty nice. Yeah, I haven't figured out how to turn out my light yet.
Lots have a light on it?
Yeah, I use it all the time.
Wow.
Listen, I'm just going to say, guys, and listen, if you're not all hopped up on Builder Sports right now, Strength X2, I'm disappointing you guys. I was the biggest man at the competition this weekend. Caleb took 5 scoops of Strength X2 before the tire flip,
Yes,
and
did.
he ended up dominating that and then ended up coming second in the weekend. He is a builder sports athlete. I'm just letting you guys know right now that his body is curvy and beautiful because he's cranked up on Strength X2. I looked at Matt Stevens' body, someone who hasn't been taking Strength X2, and it looked like a sock that had been sweating and thrown under a bed.
It's a very interesting reference.
Yep. Just saying. All right, guys.
Hey, let's get an outro here piece from Braxton.
Yeah.
What's up, Braxton?
Braxton, tell us your thoughts.
I think
What was your
everybody's
rose and
great.
thorn for the weekend, Braxton?
I'm sorry, say what now?
Rose and thorn, a good thing and a bad thing.
I think everything went great. I think the athletes gave it their all. A lot of them had a great heart, and they weren't going to give up without, actually putting up a fight for at least a little bit. And I think the volunteers, the camera, and the media people, they did great. I want to say it was hot, and it was very dry, and my lips are chapped, and my back does hurt. So that's the thorn. But I think everything else went great, and everything went
You're in
pretty
a local
smooth.
prison.
Yeah, typically. But that's all I have to say, for sure.
Dude, you crushed it. I had so much fun with your curls this weekend, dude. Those tight ass little cute curls. Damn,
Yeah,
they were
I think you gotta
nice.
do that.
Damn, dude, please, dude.
got
I got my coonskin cap on right now, but once I grow out my hair a little bit more, if I can get those curls for the next Battle Bunker season, ready to rock.
Oh yeah,
It'll be over with.
We should all do perms.
Dude, oh my gosh. How long are you keeping the beard for, Austin?
I debated on shaving it. I'm going to the Marine Corps ball December 15th, and I want to have a beard for that, but I still got about 45 days for that. So I thought about wiping it clean today or tomorrow. I just didn't have time through the weekend. So I don't know. We'll see.
I shaved mine off if y'all haven't noticed yet.
You're so far back, I can't really see you.
Yeah.
Come on
Do you
up
have
in
a
the
mustache?
Austin, I think you look a lot older with the full mustache or full beard.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. I don't know if I want to look older.
Mm-hmm.
When I shave, I look like I'm about 25. When I have the beard, I look like I'm about 45.
Back
You
to a
look kinda
young
like
looking
a guy who
Dean.
drives around a van and asks people to come exercise on it.
Did we just lose everything? What'd you say?
I said you look like a guy who drives around on a van and asks people to exercise on it.
And ask people to do exercises on it?
Yeah.
Want to come into my
AKA,
van?
you're a creep.
That's a
Free
very
fatties in my van.
yeah. That's an accurate statement. I mean, people love working on the battle bus, though. When I actually explain the concept to them, they're like, "Oh, cool, let's do it."
Hey, Austin, on the bus drive, or not the bus drive home, but on the parking lot that I parked my car at, there's a little shuttle. I had my little backpack with the patches that you gave me, and he goes, "What's Battle Bus?" So I gave him a rundown of, or what's Battle Bunker? So I gave him a rundown of who Austin Alexander is, what we did over the weekend, and how he could pay off his student loans by doing the $5 a pull up type events.
He better be training a lot because
Yeah.
that's a lot of student loans.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks for spreading the wealth.
He's the best in the business at it. Guys, I got to get on to the next meeting. I love you all. Thank you for showing up. Everyone, thanks for tuning into Morningwood Radio. Aisha, thank you for my lovely gift. Boys and girls, Black Friday sales are coming soon, guys. The vote for the truest champion of all time, even more important than Battle Bunker, is the competition between Alex and Ryan going off tomorrow. So make sure you guys show up and vote. Make sure you be all over Instagram. Please show up and vote. They've worked very, very hard.
I'm so hungry today. So hungry. And a little bit of a tude.
Cage it, Braxton. Put him away, baby. Put him away.
All right,
Wrap these
boys.
things up.
Have a lovely day. Good seeing you. Over and out.
See y'all later. Talk soon.
Love you guys. Bye.
See y'all.